What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talk It Out Podcast. This is your girl, Gabby, and we got KT over here.
Hey.
Today we're going to be talking about just a lot of stuff. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you, but life happens, as we all know. But we're going to talk about some things that we missed out on, pretty much coronavirus stuff, the election, Biden winning the election, Trump trying to steal the election, and just capitalism in general, because I feel like capitalism needs to get red. I feel like people are getting radicalized, and we want to keep that going. All right, so let's get into it.
All right, so Gabby, I'd like to kind of start it off by getting your perspective of the election and what's been going on your side of the world with your parents.
Yes, before I do, make sure you hit up the social media at Talk It Out Podcast on Instagram, Talk It Out _pod on Twitter, at Gabby's Music on all social media platforms, and KT _does art on all social media platforms. But before we get into that, after we get into that, I would like to talk about something that's been going on in my house with my parents. I'm ashamed to say, but it's the truth. Y'all want me to be real. My parents are Donald Trump supporters. And not only are they Donald Trump supporters, they are the diehards that think that the election has been stolen from them. And that the Democratic Party and pretty much every branch of government has colluded to falsify votes and, get Trump out of there. So
here's my question for you, kind of like, because we all know that you're a progressive, right? So how does that like affect your day-to-day life? Like, what goes on in your house that really like pushes that out there?
First of all, I'm not a progressive. I am a communist.
Oh, you done changed on us.
I have not. Anyway, it has been, just think about it. At a certain point, I thought that they were joking. Like, the evidence and the reasoning behind everything, it just makes no sense. And so I had tried for a little bit to try to reason with them to be like, hey, Trump lost. His legal team has no evidence. They can't give you anything. Only thing they can give you is anecdotes. And that does not hold up in a court of law. And, it's just a losing battle. So I just choose not to have the conversation with them. I told them if Donald Trump ends up getting the election, I'd give both of them $200. So that's just all that we got right now.
Here's what I think, though. What I truly think is, because your parents are really religious, right?
Yeah.
So I think that kind of comes from the evangelical TV shows, the televangelists that are basically pushing it, like what's his name, Kenneth Copeland. Mm-hmm. He basically is just pushing this conservative view on people like your parents, who basically are just watching that TV show all the time. And so we've got people like Kenneth Copeland who are multi-billionaires off of donations. And, he's just brainwashing people. That's kind of what I feel. It's like a cult almost.
For sure. The Republicans and the evangelicals have created a monster, pretty much. And it's a monster they can manipulate any way that they so choose. So, right now, my mom, she watched Kenneth Copeland. I think really what it is a lot of them are holding on to faith because a lot of prophets prophesied that Donald Trump was getting a second election. If those prophets are wrong, then it's going to have to make people sit back and think, wait, are these prophets real? Were the prophecies real? What is real? People trying to hold on to their faith because now they have intertwined their faith with politics and being a Republican, which just doesn't, it don't always mean. But,
and we talk about the Republicans, but I don't think the Democrats have been any better, especially like Nancy Pelosi. Like, she's just been trashed this whole pandemic. She's been one of the top people who have refused to give us any type of money during the pandemic. She just wants us all to go back to work and just ignore the fact that there's a pandemic going on. So, she's trash, so is Chuck, and so is all the other people in the Democratic Party. Like, I don't really care about them anymore, and I could really care less. And, you know, that just kind of brings me to Joe Biden. The whole Democratic Party, they literally gave us Joe Biden. Of all people.
I was wrong. I said Kamala will get it, but I was wrong.
Of all people.
I definitely did not see this one. I mean, it was Obama's tail. You already know how we feel about Obama. Obama but show up every time there's an inch of social anything. If he thinks somebody finna turn their neck too fast to the left, he over there on a Superman suit.
Oh, Lord. No, what is it?
Bernie Sanders was leading. Not saying he would have won all of Super Tuesday. That's definitely not what we're saying. But it's common knowledge now that Obama made some calls, got everybody to drop out and endorse Joe Biden. That does not happen.
Nope.
Nobody sat out and said, hey, maybe it's time for me to rethink back. No, Joe Biden. He did that. LeBron and them would have, if they were successful with their strike, that strike would have moved mountains. We know how these white folks get about these sports. LeBron is not replaceable, and all them basketball players are not replaceable. They can't just pluck somebody up to be a LeBron. That would have been humongous, and there could have been great legislation to come from that. Bernie Sanders. Obama comes up to him and says, well, I think there's other ways you can use your protest. I think you should go and play the game and figure out other ways you can use your voice. What the heck? That was the best way.
Why do you think that was the best way? I mean, personally, I think that's because the best way was to take away any type of money that was coming in. So do you think that has to do with, like, maybe capitalism and how capitalism comes along?
No, that's the only reason Obama came. When them folks was just kneeling, he didn't have nothing to say because you're not messing up money. Folks still watching the game. But when they said we finna stop the league altogether, you can't tell me somebody didn't hit up Obama and say, Obama, talk to these Negroes and get them to start playing ball. The race, I hate him. Anyways, let's go to Joe Biden. Let's talk about the liberals. Because them ugly if you're a liberal, you're not necessarily ugly. But
you're ugly.
The political liberal class. I just can't stand them sometimes because literally the only campaign that Joe Biden was running was I'm not Trump. He told us what it was, but they was like, vote for him because we gonna be able to push him to the left. You look at his cabinet, ain't no leftists up in there. He won't even let Bernie get a doggone placement somewhere.
Honestly, I think, oh gosh, and that just reminds me of like how liberals act in general. It was like, we're gonna push Joe Biden, we're gonna push Joe Biden, we're gonna push Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, right? To the point of no return. And then just as soon as Joe Biden gets in there, nobody has basically said a word about pushing him further left. It's just like, well, Joe Biden's in there. Good luck, y'all.
They don't even want you saying nothing now because they said, well, he ain't in office yet. Well, we can see what he's doing. We can see who he's putting up in there.
Well, he's not Trump. That's what I keep hearing. Like, oh, Joe Biden, he's not Trump. Like, who cares if he's not Trump if he's doing the same
Trump is
literally
like literally a piece of poop that's drifting off in the sewer. The bar to not be Trump is literally under the core of the earth.
Right.
That's not nothing to jump up and down about. Lots of folks ain't Trump and not trash.
I'm not
literally
Trump.
Everybody ain't Trump and is trash. But they do that so that now you get into this place where we're back on this same thing. I already said it. I've said it. I didn't vote last time. I didn't vote this election. But they're going to keep on doing this same lesser of two evils until the wheels fall off. There's never not going to be a lesser of two evils because America wants people to be complacent. America doesn't want great change. They're not going to give you a candidate that's saying, oh, we finna make sure everybody has a house. We're going to make sure everybody has food and adequate health care because they lose money.
Right.
So if we know that's how it's going to be, you're not going to be able to get me into voting for somebody. Because I don't even agree with this system as it is. So what?
Well. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be real honest with ourselves. At one point or another, Gabby, you were gonna vote for Joe Biden. Do you want to explain that to the people?
Explain it. I'm ashamed, guys. I get caught up in the Vosh pipeline.
Who's Vosh?
Jesus. Y'all don't look him up. He's some white little quote unquote libertarian socialist guy. The only reason I started watching his videos is because he like debates Nazis and stuff like that. And so I found him interesting. But then, I found out he was saying the N-word, and then his regular politics weren't even really that good. He's just good at, knowing stats and stuff. He doesn't really have an analysis or a way to put those stats together and make it into something. But anyways, he was pretty much saying, now, if Joe Biden, and I never thought about this. He said, now, if Joe Biden's the president, you'll have a better chance protesting. You'll have an easier time protesting. And I was listening to Erica Hartnum podcast, and they was like, what do y'all think protesting is? Going to Starbucks? A protest is inherently violent. Some violence is going to go on. It's not like you think the police, because Joe Biden is the president, is just going to be like, yes, black people, do your thing. No, it's going to be the same thing because that's what they did with Obama.
Right.
So that was one reason. And then he said coronavirus will be handled better with Joe Biden. And now it's turning out to be probably not the case because he doesn't want to do a lockdown and give us a stimulus. So people still going to have to be out there working. Yep. And I'm like, okay, so that's not different. So what is different? Oh, well, at least you're not finna have somebody out there that's platforming alt-right and Nazis. Okay.
But I mean, he kind of is because he also had the thought, or he was also talking about, like, during his campaigning, basically, well, we all just gonna come together and kumbaya and blah, blah, blah. Like, do you remember that whenever he was talking about basically that, like, if or whenever he's the president, he doesn't care who votes for him. We're all gonna come together. I don't know, it's some racist stuff.
No, he was just saying. No, he was saying he was gonna be the America of all people. He said, He said he's not going to investigate Trump and prosecute him. And I'm like, so this was all a grift. Because if you really thought that Donald Trump was as bad as y'all made him out to be, war criminal, creating all these crimes and corrupt or whatever, the law still stands. As a black person, even if I was a great upstanding citizen and I stole a car, y'all would still make sure I got some time. I don't know why. See, that just tells you it's not about that. My hypothesis was they don't think Trump is morally that bad because they all believe the same. It's just that he's making the image of the president not look respectable. It's like a white version of respectability politics. Like if you're gonna be in a position of power and leadership, they want you to look the part. They want you to look good. They want you to be able to form a sentence because that reflects back on them. I think that was pretty much the extent to which that establishment liberal class hated Trump. It was just that he was a buffoon and just embarrassed them, honestly.
I agree.
So what do you think about us not getting the stimulus?
Well, honestly, I'm upset myself. Think about this. So they gave us, when was this, in April or March? Who knows? They gave us $1,200. That was it. Can y'all imagine? I mean, obviously you can't imagine because you went through it too. But I just think about like the fact that there are so many people in this world, or even just in America, period, who are hurting financially because of this pandemic. Everybody, literally half the country, if not more, is already taking unemployment and getting unemployment because their job basically said, sorry, we don't have a place for you in this pandemic. But instead of them, like, I don't know, just giving us some extra money, they just gave it all to, like, the corporations. And then the corporations, instead of the corporations taking that money and providing some kind of pay to the people that were actually there, they just put it right back into their own stock, which is what got them into that place to begin with. And so, yeah, the stock market looks good right now, but people are displaced and people are without homes and people are literally trying to make rent and having to do a whole bunch of stuff that they weren't doing it before. And I mean, it's not like it was good before, but at least, I don't know, it's just like, it's just bad. It's just bad right now. And it's so bad. And people are dying every day with the pandemic. And I just watch the regular news and it just kind of freaks me out because there's like 3,000 people that are dying every single day. We still got people that are going out and who have to work. Not only do people have to work because of capitalism, but also they won't shut down the country so that people don't have to die and people don't have to go to work. It's just, America is just a shithole. It's just a shithole. And we live in this world where we have all this technology, we have all of these funds, and we have all this money and stuff like that. But the people down here, the lower people, we don't see any of that money. We don't see anything. We don't see anything.
Nope. And, they tout that the stock markets have gone up. You know what else has gone up? The people filing for unemployment.
Yep.
And this is something I want to just throw out there. We're going to talk about capitalism all the time. And we'll make some episodes on our new YouTube channel, which I'll plug down here as well. Something I was thinking about is, they like to throw a narrative out there that the poor people are leeching off of America with the quote-unquote entitlements. Do you know who's leeching off of the Americans? The rich people. The rich people. And why do we say this? Okay, of course they're not paying taxes. They're not paying taxes, so that means where our money is the ones that are funding the roads that their Amazon trucks can ride through.
Yep.
Our money is the one that's keeping their business afloat because they don't have to pay taxes for like 20-some years. And our labor, the labor of the poor, is what's making them rich.
Yep.
The labor of the poor is what's making them rich, giving them profit, allowing their business to thrive. The rent of the tenants, the poor tenants, is what's paying for the landlord to have a house in the suburbs that's 6-figure house.
Literally.
While people are living in apartments with the water not working. Our labor is the ones, as black people, as creators, as artists, the ones that's keeping this the music industry afloat. Our labor as black people, period, is what's kept America afloat from the jump. What's kept what gave George Washington his money,
yep.
Andrew Jackson his money, Thomas Jefferson, what gave all of the rich people, Vanderbilt, all them humongous people, they got their money from the backs of poor people, black people. And they continue to mooch off of us. Folks had to beg to get $15 an hour for Amazon, can barely go to the restroom. Jeff Bezos has so much money, he can lose $300 million and not even bat an eye. Rich people are the moochers and the leeches of this world. They pay no taxes and get all of the benefit of the society. You are poor. You work your butt off 5-7 days a week, and if you call in out one day, the folks ready to have a fit.
Yep, they ready to fire you. So I think this will be a good time to go on ahead and plug that we are going ahead and looking for some support. So if you would like to donate to our PayPal, you can. It's paypal.me/talkitoutpodcast, or we do also have Cash App. Mine is Cash App KDP 1018. That's Kitty Dang Pajamas.
You didn't have to make
1018.
Mine is Gabbeats, GABBEATS. But
we
know everybody's struggling, so if you don't have it, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Only thing we want to do is reinforce this. We're going to reinforce it with our YouTube and definitely here, class consciousness, not to be class reductionist, because race is also a very important integral part, as well as ability and everything else. But once we get that in our head that the rich are the moochers, we're not going to tolerate somebody like Nancy Pelosi insisting that these rich people need even less tax, paying negative taxes now, actually getting money back.
This just like, that reminds me of the fact that we learned this not too long ago. Trump literally paid $750 in taxes. Do you know how much in taxes I paid?
We paid that in a year.
I paid that. I paid more than that in a year. I remember looking back on my taxes last year at the beginning of the year, and I was so mad because it was the Medicaid that I had paid, which is Medicare that I had paid, which is totally fine with me, right? But I paid like almost $1,000 in Medicare.
And these are the people that
they didn't even pay anything towards that.
And think about it. These are the ones creating the narratives to get us fighting with each other about the poor people on the welfare. They don't even contribute to the welfare. Shoot, if Jeff Bezos was contributing to the welfare, everybody could get on welfare.
Sure could.
Let's think about these things. And let's stop fighting each other. Because literally, we have no power. All you got to do is look up and look at the people who are protecting each other. No matter the political class, you know who gonna get money? The military gonna get money, and the corporations gonna get money. So that should tell you who's really on your side and who is not. All right, we gonna wrap it up, guys. We just want to hit you up with a little something. Make sure you hit us up on our social medias at Talk It Out Podcast on Instagram and Talk It Out _pod on Twitter. We have a YouTube channel, Building Our Power. We're going to be creating communist content on there. Very, very engaging, very informative content. You can also find these episodes on there as well. Make sure you hit us up on our own individual sites. KT _does arts. KT does print. She does crochet. She crocheting right now as we talking. Gabbeats Music. I do music. I'm an artist. Gabbeats. I do beats at Gabbeats Music. And that's gonna be pretty much it. We out.